Hi guys, Jack here. Today we're going to be taking a look at the Corsair Carbide Air 540 that we have here. Air's in the name, mainly because airflow is the sole purpose of this case, due partly to the dual chamber nature of the design, which keeps the PSU on the back side of the case away from the components that you want to keep cool. However, this design does mean that it is quite a wide case, which can be an issue. It's 332mm wide, as well as 458mm tall and 418 deep. So it does have a sizable footprint. Because of the airflow nature of the case, there are a decent amount of options for fans and radiator support. So the front panel has options up to either two 140mm fans or three 120mm fans. The top panel can take either two 120 or two 140, and the rear one 120 or one 140mm fan. Because of the size in the case, there is room for radiator support. You can fit up to a 280mm radiator on the top panel and up to a 360mm radiator on the front. However, I would recommend, if you're going to mount a radiator, that you use an AIO liquid cooler, because the lack of reservoir mounting means it's going to be quite difficult to make a custom loop in there. While we're talking about fan mounting options, I should mention that both the top and the front panel are covered by a mesh. However, only the front panel has a proper dust filter, and unfortunately, to get at this, you do have to remove the two thumb screws at the back, then take off the top panel, and then remove the front panel before you can pop the dust filter out. Also, it can be quite difficult to pop the dust filter out if you have a radiator or fans installed, as the access to the magnetic point is not that easy. The case supports anything up to standard ATX size motherboards, with pre-installed standoffs for ATX. Obviously you can move these and a tool is supplied if you would like to go smaller, mini ITX or etc. Just next to the motherboard are 6 holes with rubber grommets installed. These are going to be great for routing pretty much any cable you can think of to the motherboard, be it power for the graphics card, power for the motherboard, SATA, you get the idea. Just below there is another hole which is quite convenient for USB, HD audio, that kind of thing. However, there is no grommet, so the cables will be a little exposed. While we're on the subject of no grommets, just below there are a pair of hard drive cages which mount directly to the board at the back. Now, this is quite great for convenience, they're easy to hot swap, and I think they look quite good as long as you've got a nice looking hard drive there. However, the underside is just a hole. There is no dust filter there, so it is exposed to any dust that may be lying around in the room. One nice addition is the PCIe brackets are held on via thumb screws, so they're easy to remove and easy to replace, so you're not going to get yourself any cuts by having to push out any cheap PCIe slot covers. Moving to the rear of the case, you'll see the slot for up to a full-size power supply, along with ample room for cable management. Even if you're running RGB fans with extra cables and hubs, etc., there's tons of room back here, so I can't see any issue no matter the build. Just above there are the SSD caddies. It will take up to 4 standard SATA SSDs in there, and they just slide in, so completely toolless operation. The cages are also modular and removable, so you can take them out individually or all together, and it's again a toolless design for removing and putting it back together, so it's quite easy. Slightly further forward is the two 5.25 inch bays for Blu-ray, DVD, anything like that. However, the cage isn't removable, so it is wasted space if you don't end up using those. There's not too much to get excited about at the front I/O. It's pretty standard. There's power, reset, headphone and microphone, as well as a pair of USB 3.0 ports. Because of the age of the case, there is no 3.1 support and no USB-C. Visually, the case is a mixed bag. Some people will love the wide design and some people really won't. Also, the use of matte black can be a bit of a pain. It does pick up some smudge marks if you have particularly oily fingers, and the use of an acrylic side panel, I think at this price point, isn't great. I would have much preferred a tempered glass. While we're talking about the side panel as well, this is metal whereas the rest of the case is plastic, and if you do look closely you can see quite a stark difference between the two. One thing I will say though is if you do step back at a reasonable distance and look at it from there, it's a nice looking case. I particularly like the grille cover over the front and top fan mounts. Overall, I think it's a decent case. I think visually it's okay, and it's excellent for beginners because of the ample room in the back and the front. There's no difficulty trying to route cables around things or over things, and there's no awkward mounting options, so it's really nice to build in. With this, along with ample support for decent hardware and more than adequate cooling, I think it's a great case and I would definitely recommend it. If you'd like to see more information on the case or you'd like to pick up one yourself, please see the links in the description below. Thanks for watching, have a good one.